Welcome to the strange part of history, the part where entire countries just vanished. Not like Poof, gone like in cartoons did, but actually, yeah, kind of like that. Ever heard of the Republic of Texas? It was a whole country for almost a decade. Or how about East Germany? A country that split from West Germany, existed for 40 years, and then unexisted. There's even a place called Zanzibar, which was a country for 33 hours. That's shorter than your last relationship. This is a video about countries that existed, had flags, armies, and governments, and then disappeared like a Netflix show with no second season. No, we're not talking about empires collapsing over centuries. We're talking about fully functioning, internationally recognized countries that just said okay bye, or got eaten by neighbors. So let's open the passport to nowhere. Let's look at the forgotten, deleted, and sometimes hilarious history of countries that don't exist anymore. Spoiler, most of them ended badly. Like real badly. This is the history of countries that don't exist anymore. And trust us, you're going to want to take notes, just in case yours is next. Okay, so why do countries stop existing? Well, imagine the world as one big, messy apartment complex. Each room is a country, some are loud, some are rich, some are weird. And sometimes two roommates hate each other so much, one leaves and starts their own room. Other times, two rooms merge into one, and sometimes the building just explodes. Countries vanish for a few reasons. War, the classic one. Country A fights country B, country A wins. Country B ceases to be. Ask Tibet, Prussia, or Gran Colombia about that. Mergers. Sometimes countries just decide, hey, you and me, let's be one thing now. Example. North and South Yemen merged to become just Yemen. Still not going great. Colonization and independence. Some countries existed before colonization got taken over, then either never came back or came back as something totally different. Example. Rhodesia became Zimbabwe. Ceylon became Sri Lanka. And New Granada, never even heard of it? That's okay, it became Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, and Venezuela. Economics, treaties, or just bad planning. Some countries were so small, so broke, or so random that they couldn't survive. The Free State of Fiume lasted less than 5 years. The California Republic lasted less than a month. And Zanzibar, again, 33 hours. Basically, countries are not permanent. Borders are drawn by people, and people love to change their minds. Welcome to the Hall of Forgotten Countries. Let's walk through history's weirdest, wildest breakups, the countries that no longer exist, and the equally bizarre ways they vanished. Zanzibar, the country that lasted 33 hours. Zanzibar declared independence from Britain in 1963. It had a sultan, a flag, a government, and then a rebellion. Just 33 hours after it became a country, a socialist uprising overthrew the sultan. The new leaders were like, let's just join Tanzania instead. Poof! Country gone. Shortest-lived nation in modern history. Imagine spending more time on a pizza delivery than Zanzibar did as a country. The Republic of Yucatan, Mexico's temporary quitter. Mexico in the 1840s was like that one unstable friend who always says, I'm leaving forever. The Yucatan Peninsula actually did it. They broke off and became their own country. The Republic of Yucatan, why? Political beef with the central Mexican government. They even had ambassadors, trade treaties and flags. Then war with the Mayans, financial collapse, and a sad little reunion with Mexico in 1848. Basically like a teenager running away from home, getting hungry and coming back quietly. The Republic of Hawaii, yes, that was a thing. Before Hawaii was a US state, it was a kingdom. Then in 1893, rich American sugar planters staged a coup. They kicked out Queen Liliuokalani and created the Republic of Hawaii. Their goal? Get annexed by the US, which actually worked. Hawaii was independent for 5 years, then became a US territory and eventually a state. So, technically, Hawaii went kingdom, republic, smoothie bar capital of the world, East Germany, the failed communist roommate. After World War II, Germany split into West Germany, capitalist, and East Germany, communist. East Germany was heavily controlled by the Soviets. It built the Berlin Wall to keep people in, had secret police, the Stasi, and tried to make communism cool. It didn't work. By 1990, the wall came down. East Germany collapsed and re-merged with the West. Now it's just Germany. But older East Germans still remember standing in line for bananas. The United Arab Republic sounds huge, wasn't? In 1958, Egypt and Syria were like, hey, we both hate the West, let's become one country. They called it the United Arab Republic, UAR. It lasted 3 years. Why did it fall apart? Syria realized Egypt was basically bossing them around like a bad co-worker. So, in 1961, Syria peaced out. Egypt awkwardly kept the name UAR for another 10 years. Imagine breaking up but keeping your ex's last name for fun. The Confederation of the Rhine, Napoleon's Franken country. This one's wild. In the early 1800s, Napoleon created a custom-made country. The Confederation of the Rhine, a Frankenstein's monster of small German states under his control. It was meant to weaken Austria and Prussia. It worked, for a while. Then Napoleon got defeated, Austria and Prussia came back, and the Confederation gone, deleted from the group chat. The Republic of Texas, the cowboy country. Yes, Texas was its own country from 1836 to 1845. It broke away from Mexico and just vibed. They had a president, Sam Houston, ambassadors, money, an army, and a lot of gunpowder, but debt piled up. Mexico threatened war, so Texas decided, America's bigger, let's join them. It did, and became the state of Texas. Now they mostly exist to remind you, we were our own country once. Yes, Texas, we know. Czechoslovakia, the peaceful divorce. Czechoslovakia was formed after World War I. It was a mix of Czechs and Slovaks, kind of like if two different languages were married. They stayed together for decades through Nazi invasions, Soviet rule, and communism. But in 1993, the two sides politely said, you take the East, I'll take the West. Good luck. They split peacefully into the Czech Republic and Slovakia. No war, no screaming. Just the most boring breakup in history. Liberland, the country that kind of isn't. In 2015, a guy from the Czech Republic claimed a 7-square-kilometer no-man's land between Croatia and Serbia. He called it Liberland, declared independence, made a flag, even had a president himself. No one else recognized it. Croatia kept arresting visitors, but it's still online, accepting citizenship applications. So technically, it's a country, but legally, it's a meme. Quickfire round, more you've probably never heard of. Biafra, Nigeria, independent for 3 years, civil war ended it. Tanu Tuva, a Soviet satellite state, now part of Russia. Sikkim, independent Himalayan kingdom, joined India in 1975. Neutral Moresnet, a tiny neutral country between Belgium and Germany. It existed for 100 years and tried to make Esperanto its national language. Carpatho-Ukraine declared independence in 1939, invaded the next day. One-day nation, New Granada was Colombia before Colombia became Colombia. Transcaucasian SSR, a Soviet Union of Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia. Spoiler, didn't last. History's full of short-lived dreams, failed states and very ambitious dudes with flags. Because anyone can start a country, but keeping it alive, that's the hard part. So, why should you care about dead countries? Well, first, it's kind of poetic. Countries rise, countries fall, and sometimes they last less than a TikTok trend. But here's the kicker. Many of today's borders, wars, and even passports are shaped by the ghosts of these forgotten nations. Zanzibar's revolution, it helped create modern Tanzania. The Republic of Texas, it still fuels American politics. The United Arab Republic, it's why Middle Eastern unity never really worked. Even fake countries like Liberland show how people are still testing the system. And every time a country disappears, something else is born, a new country, a new identity, or a giant political mess, usually the mess. So, yeah, a map is never permanent. It's a snapshot of who was winning at that particular moment in the never-ending tug-of-war called history. And someday, even your country might be on one of these lists. Nothing lasts forever except you watching this video. So what did we learn today? Countries come and go, borders are made up. And your history teacher definitely skipped some very juicy stories, from Zanzibar's 33-hour drama to Texas almost becoming its own Marvel spin-off. The world map is basically a chaotic group project where people keep erasing each other's work, and maybe, just maybe, your country is next in line to vanish. No pressure. So if you enjoyed this weird little trip through countries that don't exist anymore, subscribe to Infinitia Verity for more stories your textbooks forgot to mention. Because, let's be real, history is just people messing up with flags. Like, subscribe, and comment with your favorite forgotten country below. Let's keep history weird.